Hi, I'm Butch Mowdy, and I don't wear a helmet. But I don't turn people away that are. If somebody comes out here to take a lesson and they don't have a helmet, I'm not going to turn them away. What I'm going to do is work with them. I'm going to try and educate them. Knowledge is power, and you cannot legislate safety, but you can educate unsafe practices. And this is just my opinion. I don't care if you want to wear a helmet, but no amount of your arrogance is going to convince me to do something that I don't believe in. I don't try at equine kindergarten. I don't try to tell people that what they're doing is wrong. I don't try to belittle them into thinking that my way is the only way. If they're having a trouble with their horse, I try to help them. I've worked with dressage horses, I've worked with eventers, and I've worked with jumpers, and had some success, and I help a few of them. I've also worked with horses that were nothing more than rock crushers in eastern Oregon or northern Nevada. And if a kid comes out here to take a lesson and the parents brought it here and the parents say it's okay, I'm not going to turn them away. The alternative is maybe I could have helped them do a thing that would have kept them safer, but I sent them home because they didn't have a helmet, and now they don't know any more than they did. And if they were doing an unsafe thing that was scaring them or whatever, and that's why they called me to help, and I turned them away, I could get them hurt by not offering to help them because they didn't have a helmet. And I've worked with a lot of horses. I'm 70 years old, and I've been in the horse business longer than anybody that I personally know, and made a living. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. The people that wear helmets wherever they go and belittle you for not having your helmet on, their horses are just as troubled as the ones that's never put a helmet on their head. But if you think typing out some hateful comment on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, it must make you personally feel superior. I learned a long time ago that coexistence and education went a long ways further working with horses and people than intimidation or arrogance. An act of violence doesn't have to be physical. And I learned a long time ago that I'd just soon not do battle with these horses. I'd just soon get along with them, work with them, educate them. Now back to the helmet. I put a poll up on the internet, and the helmet people might be disappointed in the results. I only have 11,000 followers. That's nothing. I mean, hell, P. Diddy's probably got 100 million. I don't know. But having a helmet or not having a helmet doesn't give you any more knowledge than a person that doesn't wear a helmet. As a matter of fact, all the people that influenced me in my life growing up, we thought helmet was for football games. Now it's proven that a helmet can stop you from getting a head injury. But a helmet can also exacerbate the issue. And the people that say you should always wear a helmet when you're riding, but you don't need to wear one when you're on the ground, have never been around the kind of horses I get in here. Knowledge is what's kept me safe for 70 years, not a helmet. Working with those horses instead of against them, without getting mad, staying mentally and emotionally zen, if you will. Knowledge. That's what's kept me safe. It hasn't been a helmet. And the people that say you can't do this or you can't do that unless you got the correct uniform on, they may or may not be handy with a horse. But just because they're wearing a helmet don't mean that they're handier than I am. And it don't mean that since I'm not wearing a helmet that I'm handier than they are. Equine kindergarten and me, Butch Mowdy, has always been about education. We don't talk bad about trainers. We don't talk bad about anything because that's detrimental to success. What we do is we work with the horse that gets presented to us out here. And you don't do that by trying to make that horse conform to some sort of standard that somebody that's not here touching the horse sets upon you. The horse dictates. Well, if the horse dictates what it needs when it needs it, it ain't a helmet that's going to keep you safe. It's your ability to listen to that horse and decide what that horse needs and give that horse that thing when it needs it. No more, no less. The reason that I'm making a video of this is because my videos reach farther than my posts do. And I just want to make myself perfectly clear. If this means that I go completely out of business because I took a stand and because I believe in personal choice, then so be it. Like I said, I'm 70. I've had a good run. If I lose a few followers because I let some kid climb on a horse and it didn't have a helmet on, I guarantee you I asked their parents if it was okay. Guarantee you I did. And if their parents say, we don't need a helmet, it's not my job to tell those people that they're not raising their kid right. It's my job to educate that kid to handle that horse in such a way as they stay as safe as they possibly can. And as much as you people would like to tell me that that stand is wrong, personal message me. I happen to know of at least 2 extremely famous people that were wearing vests and helmets, and they're quadriplegics now. And that's just something that I know off the top of my head. Now, will a helmet stop you from taking a direct impact head injury? Probably. But all them years I buckarooed, and I buckarooed for quite a little while, I fell off of horses in the rocks. Yeah, I have. But here I sit. You cannot legislate safety, but you can educate unsafe practices. If you would rather put on the armor of the horseman than educate yourself on how to be a horseman or a horsewoman, then I hope your equipment never fails you. I hope you never have a horse with a trouble that you can't fix with your helmet and your life vest on. Not one time have I ever said in this video that I make fun of people for wearing helmets. The honest to God truth is I have a helmet in my tack room right here. I put it on once in 15 years. And looking back in retrospect, if I would have had the horse prepared more, I wouldn't even have thought about putting that helmet on. But until you open the round pen gate and go long trot and do a day's worth of work, you're just playing. You're just playing. Everything is a simulation of reality if you're not doing a day's work on top of your horse. And I appreciate the fact that people want to improve their relationship with their horses. That's my job, to educate. Nobody's wrong in this deal. All we can do is present what we feel to be truth. And it's up to the person with the horses, with the horse, to decide whether that truth suits them or not. But what it's not our right to do is tell other people that they're 100% wrong and you can't do that this way. There are no absolutes in the horse business. Hell, you can get killed doing chores in the morning. And if you don't believe me, then maybe you're not the one doing the chores. But if you're working around a barn full of old solid broke campaigners, you have a pretty easy life, actually. If you're working around a pen full of horses that's never been touched by humans before, you better have some horsemanship skills. And it ain't going to matter if you got good skills whether your helmet's on or not. If you forgot to put your helmet on and you went out and you lived through an experience, well, God bless you. If you put your helmet on and you never had a bad experience, well, then God bless you. But the helmet wasn't the difference. It was the knowledge. It was the horsemanship skills. And I'm going to kind of leave you with this. There are no absolutes in the horse industry other than people wreck horses. Some people can help fix them. Some people can't. The only loser in this deal is horses that are misunderstood, people that think they know, but they don't. Knowledge is power. But knowledge in the hands of an ignorant person, that's evil. And trying to dictate what everybody in the world will do, how about educate them and let them make a personal choice? Is it because education takes longer? Maybe. But instead of telling somebody you've never met how poorly they're doing, maybe our job is to educate ourselves and see if maybe what they're doing isn't too bad. If the horse is truly supposed to be the focus, look at the horses. You can dress up any way you want to dress up. And if your horses are terrible to ride, maybe the common denomination is this or this. I've had discussions with people that didn't believe in tying their horses up. In my world, a horse has to learn to tie and stay where you put them. Sometimes they have to stay tied for a long time. And there's people that say that's evil. Once again, a little knowledge in the hands of an ignorant person, it's horrible. So, if this means that, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this, if this means that Butch Mowdy and Equine Kindergarten goes out of business because I don't wear a helmet, I had a good run, and I want to thank you. I'm not trying to convince you that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just telling you how it is out here at my facility. How you choose to run your facility, how you choose to conduct your lesson plan, I'll back you up 100%. But if I'm going to back you up on how you decide to do things, then by golly, you at least owe me that same amount of courtesy and respect. The only thing wrong with the horse business is people. It's been that way for years. Educate yourself. Before you start putting other people down, maybe you ought to go have a talk with the person in the mirror. You might not even have the right to say anything. This isn't going to change anybody's opinion, this little video, but what it's going to do is going to make me feel better. And when I get the results of that helmet poll back, next week sometime, I'll total everything up and I'll post them. And if you don't like the results, well, at some point it is what it is. And no amount of complaining, no amount of stomping your feet and throwing a fit is going to change what the people said that took the poll. And if you don't get anything else out of this video except for, God, I don't like that old guy, well, thank you. If all you get out of this is, I'm not following that anymore, well, thank you. Because I am 70, my days are numbered, and I would just soon talk to people that find what I have to offer valuable, as to people that I have to argue with. Because life is too short. I do not want to spend the remainder of my years arguing with people that can only see their way or the highway. Because that's not how you make a good horse either. A horse will tell you what he needs when he needs it. Our job is to provide that. Not to compare that horse to the horse in the pen next to him. And, you know, Einstein said, if a fish spends its whole life getting made fun of because it couldn't climb a tree, the person that made fun of that fish is evil. Because we all do what we can do. And if it has value, that should be celebrated, not belittled. But when negative is easier than educating or being positive, that's a pretty sad reflection on the world. It's a pretty sad reflection on the industry. And it's a pretty sad reflection on the person that made those comments. These are just my thoughts. I'm entitled, and so are you. Bye.